be in my divine feminine? First, you have to clear the fear that being feminine means weak, silent, or less than. I don't believe being feminine is weak. Your logical mind doesn't, but your energy still does. The generations before you where women were suppressed lives in your body even if your mind says otherwise. So then what is the divine feminine? She says no without guilt. She knows her worth without having to earn it. She allows herself pleasure for absolutely no reason at all. That makes me feel uncomfortable. Yes, exactly.
The divine feminine does not submit. That's a bunch of bullshit that they told you that the masculine leads and the feminine submits. But it's the fucking complete opposite. See, the divine feminine is the spark, the womb of creation, is intuition, it is vision, the unseen blueprint. The divine masculine is the structure, the logic, the action that builds upon the vision. So in truth, the masculine doesn't actually lead, it serves. It submits, not like in some weakness shit, but in devotion. It says, show me the vision and I'll make it real. And let me get something clear, because these energies is not about men and women. This is about energy. They both live inside of you. When your logic tries to lead your intuition, you get stuck, burnt out, and disconnected. But when your masculine bows to your feminine within, life flows. You follow the whisper, the download, the nudge, and your action carries it into form. And the shit that we need to get very clear is that your soul does not submit to societal constructs. All this talk of the man is supposed to lead, the woman is supposed to submit, that's patriarchal, ego-driven bullshit. That's a system somebody made up and stamped as this is how it's supposed to be, but there's no supposed to be. Your soul wasn't born to obey constructs. It was born to flow, to move with whatever is alive between two people in this moment. Relationships aren't about rigid roles. They're not checklists. They're a living, breathing dance. Sometimes you lead with vision. Sometimes you lead with action. Sometimes you soften, and sometimes you anchor. Now, there's nothing wrong with preference. If you love the dynamic of a man taking care of you in every way, beautiful. If you prefer a relationship where energy flows differently, also beautiful. But that's preference. That's not universal truth. People suffer when they confuse preference with law, when they box themselves into this how it has to be for everyone. That's the real actual trap. Life isn't supposed to look one way. It's supposed to look like your way. Like different things work for different people. What matters is not following constructs. It's following what works for you. This is your life. Stop complicating it with rules that were never real. The only true submission is to your own soul. That is divine union. That is freedom.
Women are not designed to live in discipline mode every single day. For men, we run on the sun. It's a daily rhythm. We reset every 24 hours, and discipline fuels us. But for women, it's cyclical. They have 4 phases, 4 seasons each month. We have winter, which is the menstrual phase. It's all about resting and reflecting. Spring, which is the follicular phase. It's all about new beginnings, new starts, energy rises. Summer, which is the ovulatory phase. We have energy peaks, confidence, connection. And then fall, which is the luteal phase. It's all about calming down, slowing down, turning inward. So when society expects women to grind every single day, to have the same daily structure in rhythm like men do, it's like telling winter to bloom like summer. Doesn't make any damn sense. In the original video on this, people were commenting that I'm implying that women cannot be CEOs, have positions of power, cannot be leaders. That is not the case at all. I don't know how people just jump to that assumption. Women having a rhythm doesn't make them less powerful. It just means that their strength is different. It's rooted in rhythm and not rigidity like a man's. Different rhythm, same potential, different kind of power.
God is a woman and the devil is a man, and people are missing this in their own biology book. So female versus male chromosomes. The female is the XX, the male is the XY, the incomplete version of the female. The X represents the God chromosome. It is the divine blueprint of God. The creators of life are the women. They are the direct image of what God would look like. The male is an incomplete mutation of the XX. It has a shorter second chromosome. All life form begins as female. Because God is a woman, so all life begins as woman. That's why men have nipples with absolutely no function, because they actually started as women in the womb until they became a genetic mutation and became male. So as we can see, the XY is an incomplete version of God, of XX. I had to look into this because I didn't understand why violent crimes, theft, rape, sex trafficking, murder, suicide are all predominantly done by men. They also have the highest level of addiction. So I was like, what is wrong with the male? Like, what happened? Why is this happening? The entire world is on fire due to male leadership. They are not original leaders. The female, the XX, comes first. She is the leader of the planet, Mother Nature, the great cosmic womb. The female is where all life starts. Since the male is incomplete, he needs direct access to the female all the time. That is how he feels whole and complete. She is the divine pathway to God. That is how he feels his best, his connection to the woman. Most people don't know this, but the start of life was all female. There were no men. It was just women reproducing women through parthenogenesis. This is asexual reproduction. There's no male required, and there are still species today that reproduce like this. The woman, the God, created the male for physical diversity. The woman wanted a stronger, bigger version of herself for diversity. She didn't realize she was actually giving birth to her greatest apex predator. The male, feeling incomplete in a matriarchal society, had two options. He could evolve spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, and be divine himself. Or he could overthrow the matriarch with power and brutal force to create a patriarchy. And the patriarchy is upheld through religion, where everyone tells you that the woman needs to bow down to her husband and become ownership of the husband and submit to the husband, that he can become the leader and the woman can become property. The father hands over ownership of his own daughter to another man. It's a business transaction of domestic ownership. And what's happening now is women have full autonomy, at least in this country, and they are propelling in life forward so quickly, mentally, physically. They have way more resources. More women are graduating college. More women are starting successful businesses. More of them are buying properties and land because they are running laps around the XY chromosome, because they are whole, divine, and a lot of them are understanding that they don't really need marriage. The male, again, has this choice. Do I evolve and meet the woman where she is at, or do I use force to convince her into becoming property again? So again, God is the woman. She created the man who fell from her grace, became the fallen angel, overthrew God through force, just like the devil, and began to rule the world. That is actually what religious scripture is trying to teach you, but they took over religion to create submission.
I can see why they taught us about Eve and not Lilith. They don't want us channeling that energy. I think it's time we do. Even though Lilith's story predates the Bible, yes, predates the Bible, many people don't even know who Lilith is, or I should say what Lilith is. Lilith appears in Sumerian, Babylonian, and Jewish mysticism. She was first known as a goddess tied to fertility, sexuality, and the wild feminine side. And of course, she was later reimagined as a demon in patriarchal narrative. In the alphabet of Ben Sira, which is the Jewish lore, Lilith is portrayed as Adam's first wife. This is a lot different from the story we heard about Eve, because they said Eve was made from Adam's rib. This insinuates that Adam came first. According to the text, this became a problem with Lilith, because Lilith was like, nah, we was made at the same time. I'm about to worship and obey him. What do you think this is? Lilith say, you know what? Y'all got it. I'm leaving Eden. With Lilith leading the Garden of Eden, this marked her as a symbol of defiance, autonomy, and divine power. Of course, when she left Eden, they demonized her, made her a symbol of chaos, a seductress, a child snatcher. All of that is distortion. They made all that up just so they could suppress the divine feminine. Lilith represents equality. She just wanted equal standing with Adam. Remember, everything is allegorical, so I'm going to get to the allegories in a minute, but I want to just break the story down so it'll make sense to y'all. Lilith was challenging the idea that men was superior to women. It also represents sexual autonomy. She controlled her body. She wasn't letting nobody tell her what to do with it. This threatened the patriarchal narrative because according to them, women's body is solely for male use. I think not. It also represents divine knowledge like the serpent in Eden. She sought higher wisdom and was not comfortable. She wasn't content with blind obedience. Just like everything else, her story was rewritten to instill fear. Now that we have the story out the way, let's look at it allegorically. You know that Adam is A-T-O-M, atom. Adam. Of course, Adam represents the masculine principle, foundation of structure, logic, and physical manifestation. Atom, A-T-O-M, is the first building block of creation. But remember, it's incomplete without balance, which is where Lilith comes in. Like I said, Lilith is that raw, wild-ass feminine energy. This is the creative and chaotic force of the cosmos. She is the dark matter energy, that unseen force. And this energy holds the universe together. Departure from Adam symbolizes the imbalance. Feminine energy is rejected or suppressed. Now, Eve is more of a structured feminine energy. She represents the nurturing, controlled aspect of the feminine. She was shaped from Adam to complement him. It's like the receptive, manifesting force of creation. It embodies harmony with structure. Again, Adam, spark of creation. Lilith is the void, dark matter energy, or what we like to call primordial energy from which every creation was birthed. You think about Eden is a contained, structured garden, which is why Lilith left. Energy cannot be boxed or constrained. She couldn't stay in the garden because her energy is expansive and free. Serpent is the Kundalini energy. This is the force that connects us to divine wisdom and truth. Lilith and the serpent share this symbolism. Both of them encourage the pursuit of knowledge and spiritual wisdom, as well as self-realization. How did Lilith leave the Garden of Eden? She spoke the name of God. This represents the mastery of energy. To speak the name is to understand the frequency and vibration of the creation. Her leaving wasn't rebellion, it was a reclamation of power. Eve represents the structured feminine energy that wants to fit within the constraints of the masculine energy. You know that energy is everything, and Lilith represents energy in its rawest form. This energy reminds us of our full creative potential, connection to the divine, and our shadow self. This energy teaches us to embrace the parts of us that we fear, untamed, intuitive, and passionate aspects of our being. In the video where I talked about Medusa's real story, I told y'all how she was depicted with serpentine locks. In many ancient cultures, so was Lilith. Snakes, aka the serpent, are a representation of transformation, rebirth, and power. This is why they shed their skin. In my Origins of Humanity video, I explained to y'all the correlation and why we shed skin just like the serpent. Snakes are an extension of divine power. This power was a threat to patriarchal control. So of course, Medusa and Lilith were both demonized. Medusa's locks and Lilith's untamed hair, aka her serpentine locks, they are both connected. They represent energy in its unbound state. It has always been symbolic and tied to our spiritual wisdom, knowledge, and power. Don't forget the strength. When we break the stories down, we could see exactly why they demonized both of these figures. Because Lilith bucked the system and left the Garden of Eden, Medusa was demonized after being violated in Athena's temple. They want everybody to believe they was the demon. As part of the larger cosmic shift, we are definitely witnessing the return of Lilith as well as Medusa's energy. You know, energy moves in cycles, so we in the cycle of rebalancing. Divine feminine can no longer be suppressed. People are breaking free from dogma and reconnecting with ancient wisdom. Get this, the rise of Lilith and Medusa's energy is not to suppress the masculine as they did us. We are here to rebalance because masculine energy thrives when it's rebalanced with feminine energy. We're here to create harmony, not dominance. You can understand the symbolism, the metaphors, and the allegory. You start to see the message clearly. And you start to see how society fears that raw, untamed, divine feminine energy. There's nothing they can do now. We rising and we will never be suppressed again. So the story of Lilith, if nothing else, teaches us that we cannot step into our full power until we embrace every part of ourselves. Lilith was a true definition of be who you are. Walk in your power. Make sure you let me know your thoughts in the comment. Peace, love, and light, and gratitude for watching.
Highly spiritual women are single because they understand the metaphysical essence of the transmutation of energy and alchemy. And the primary reason why it's so hard for them to date and be in relationships is because they harness an energy that requires a man to have supreme masculinity, because only a weak man will only demonize and subjugate her spiritual gifts. Now, when you study historical context,
Divine feminine is not the woman that's just going to let you walk all over her, do what you want, say what you want, not have any boundaries, not set clear expectations with what she desires, what she expects out of you. The real divine feminine is always going to be that woman that knows her worth. She knows exactly what she can bring to the relationship, what she can bring to the world, and she will not settle for anything less than what she deserves. This woman will inevitably force you to level up, call you out on all your shit. She's going to make sure that anytime you as the man in the relationship slips and steps back into a position that she knows she doesn't want in her life, she's either going to allow you to step up or step out. The divine feminine is someone who is going to always multiply the gifts of the family, of her partner, of everybody that she's around. She turns a house into a home, turns a boy into a man. This type of woman is out there, but trust me when I say they come at a cost. It's a cost worth paying. A true divine woman will always make you, your family, and everybody that's in the situation better, stronger, and more powerful because of her.
Dear Divine Feminine, we've stolen and suppressed your light far too long. Please forgive us, but it's time now to rise up. Over the last 26,500 year cycle, the religious political programming programmed us to suppress you and to intentionally delete the truth of the Divine Feminine. But the truth will set us free. You were never meant to fit inside of this system that we created from the statistical left-sided masculine reptilian brain. The need for greed leads to more need because your DNA doesn't come from this system. Your DNA comes from a lineage of powerful, living, sensual, eternal women who once held and still hold the codes of Earth's original divine design, the Divine Mother. And the pain you feel and have felt is what happens when you wake up your cosmic blueprint and DNA memory inside of a collapsed system that didn't have the capacity to hold the depth of your soul and the wisdom. We all come from a womb, man, and behind every great man it lies a greater woman. But your womb, it's not just for babies, it's a multi-dimensional gateway. And every time you bleed, birth, or breathe with intention, you repair Mother Earth's grids because the two are intimately connected. How we treat our woman is how we treat Mother Earth. And for too long, Mother Earth, we've raped her, but now she's giving birth, new Earth, and it's time. Divine Feminine within us all. You are what was prophesied to rise so that we can come back into balance. And a woman who remembers with an open heart is the most powerful force on this planet. Watch out. Divine Feminine, rise up now. Click the link in the bio if you're ready to shift into your highest spiritual destiny. And when I say shift into your highest spiritual destiny, I'm not joking. So if you're ready, click the link in the bio. I'll see you on the inside.
If you are a woman who has been stuck in the masculine, deep in your doing, going, constant motion, and struggling to connect to your feminine, this video is for you, because I've recently learned to embody and understand one truth that has radically changed my relationship with my feminine energy. And once you learn to embody and understand this truth, you're going to see your entire reality transform. And these are universal principles, so I know they work. The truth that I'm sharing with you today is this: nothing, and I mean nothing, that is meant for you can or will ever pass you by. Let me repeat myself. Nothing that is meant for you will pass you by. And truly reconnecting to your feminine energy means that you build unwavering trust with this truth and unwavering trust with the universe, that you believe so fully and completely that not a single thing that is meant for you will ever miss you. And this means you stop chasing. You stop attaching. You stop setting expectations. You stop getting so upset when things don't work out the way they were supposed to. Because being in the feminine is being in receivership. You are not chasing. You are not acting. You are not doing. You are being. And that's not to say you're going to sit around all day and wait for miracles to happen, because you do have to take aligned action. But for example, if you're chasing a guy who's not showing interest in you, you keep pushing, you keep making yourself present in his life, but he's not reciprocating it, what are you doing? You're in your masculine energy, being the one pursuing, being the one putting energy out where it's not being received. And you're actually likely blocking the right person from entering your life. Reconnecting to your feminine is looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, hey, nothing that's meant for me is going to pass me by. Just because I'm putting in more effort does not mean I'm going to see more results. So why don't I let this one go? Work on loving myself, work on trusting myself, make myself a perfect match for the vibration and frequency I want to attract back to my life, and then wait and see who comes to me. This is how you reconnect to your feminine. Build unshakable trust in your knowing that what is meant for you is already finding you. You just have to keep being your most authentic, raw, vulnerable, and expressive self. Give it a try and watch what happens.